Hi, welcome back to Christine's Home Affairs. I've had to sit on a really low chair today just so that I can get everything in the screen. But I have been given the opportunity to review the HTVRONT Heat Press. HTVRONT approached me and asked me if I'd like to do a review, but I'm not getting paid for it. So it is a product that I've been given to try out and see what I think of it. As a complete newbie to heat presses, I'm going to tell you what I think as far as what I will learn from it, but I don't pretend to know much about them at all. I've been doing a little bit of research online for these heat presses and other ones. I do believe this one was going to be the best one for me in my current predicament anyway. So I am really excited to be giving this one a go. I know nothing about vinyl heat pressing or sublimation or anything like that. And a lot of crafters are using this machine for printing on t-shirts and clothing and coasters and wood and glass and things like that. I have a plan. You know, in my shop I do a lot of rescued and repurposed fabric, and a lot of it is with upholstery fabric, and we live in a small town. So my plan is to use this machine for some tourism products that I want to sell. I want to have our local town ironed or pressed onto the fabric pieces. So I'm going to try it out on a few different things, and in the coming months when I can get back to sewing, I'm going to show you what kind of projects I've been working on to help promote my products and what I do with them. And this machine I think is going to be perfect for what I want to do with my bags. Let me show you what we've got. So this is the HTVRONT Auto Heat Press. It's got a slide out drawer, which I'll show you very soon. And when you put your products in there to be heated or pressed, you push the drawer in and you can either press it manually by pressing the button, or it'll do it automatically. So you just push the drawer in and it'll come down and press your product. It's got a little instruction book that tells you everything you need to know, and you really don't need to know much at all. The buttons on the front are self-explanatory, and they've also been good enough to send me a packet of vinyl to make some of my transfers. These are great colours, and I looked at their website. They've got tons of colours, glitter vinyl, all sorts of things. So I'm going to be working with vinyl and also some heat transfer paper. I'm going to show you what the features are with this machine and what my plans are. So let's check it out. So when you turn the machine on at the power point, this is the on and off switch, which will automatically start flashing. And the other buttons that we have here, that's the temperature button, the time, the plus or minus. So if you wanted to adjust your temperature, you would adjust that with your plus or minus. Likewise with your time. There are 4 preset heat settings in here. You can customize your settings, and you can also make this an automatic press, or you can press it manually. So if you press this auto button, when you push the drawer in, it will automatically clamp down on what you're working on, go for the set amount of time, and then release itself. If you don't use the auto button, you'll just press this button here when you want to press. We'll remove that, and I will turn that on. This is the first time I've turned this on, so I had no idea what I was expecting. This is at 75 degrees at the moment. Now that's Fahrenheit, and the light here is flashing red. When it gets to the correct temperature, it'll be green, and that's when you can actually start pressing if the temperature setting is what you're actually wanting. So while we're waiting for the temperature to come up, this is the drawer that you'll slide out. There's a pressing pad right here and easily removed, so you can actually get replacement pressing pads if you need to. And all you do is place your items straight on top here, pop it inside there, push your plate down and press. I'm still waiting for this to get warmed up. I believe it takes a little while. This has been going for probably about 2 minutes so far. Okay, so it's got the green light flashing. It's set at 210 degrees Fahrenheit. I have no idea what Fahrenheit means in English or in Celsius. And it's set to press for 20 seconds. You can go and change this anytime you want to. This area here is cool to the touch without a problem. This area here is still cool to the touch, but I do believe it does get quite warm, and that black section that you see under there is the hot iron. So you do want to be really careful in that section, putting your hands anywhere near there. In this auto heat press, there are 4 modes that are preset. At the moment, it's set at 300 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 seconds, which is mode 1. Press it again for mode 2. It'll change to 320 for 15. Mode 3 and mode 4. So then what will happen is that this has got to get up to temperature. It's at 303 degrees at the moment. On mode 4, it wants to be at 390 degrees, and then you'll press it for 40 seconds. You can also add 2 more of your favourite settings. This is the custom button here. If you want to customise this to your preferred heat setting, when you press the custom button here, you'll have an A or a B flower that comes up. So you've got, press that once for A, and then again it'll go to B. We'll go back to A, and now I want to set a custom temperature. Press the plus button. I want to go up to 305 because that's what my vinyl specifications are. And after 3 seconds it'll stop flashing and it'll set that. And then I want to set the time for 15 seconds. So I'll press the time button, and currently it's at 40. I want to come down to 15. So I'm holding the minus button, and that'll stop flashing, and then that's set at 305 degrees for 15 seconds. Just waiting for the temperature of the actual machine to come up, and once that's at the correct temperature, it'll start flashing green, and then you can start using the heat press. So pull the drawer out at the front. You've got a good pressing pad just in here, and you've got a great big 15 by 15 inch pressing area as well. Before I start changing any of the settings, I'm going to play around with this by putting some fabric in here. And I don't just want to use this as a vinyl press or an image pressing machine. I have a lot of trouble with some of my interfacings, and they don't press properly with a standard iron. I want to see how this goes with some of my normal applications. So you pop your fabric over the top there. Keep your fingers away from the plate there. Press the button here. The press will automatically come down. It'll apply the correct amount of pressure for the fabric that you've got under there. When you've finished, you can press that button again. The iron will come up. Pull your tray out, and then you've got a beautifully pressed piece of fabric. Now, I did say to you that I'm having trouble with some of my interfacings. So what I'm going to do here, this is a cotton iron-on interfacing, and I can never ever get this to adhere to any of my fabrics with a regular iron. So I want to see how that goes. HTVRONT have also sent me this applique sheet, so I'm just going to put that straight underneath there. I don't want to have any sticky residue going onto the iron, and I want to protect every surface that I can. I also don't want to burn my fabric either. You may have noticed that before I pressed this before the time was up. It's currently set at 20 seconds. I don't know how long this fabric and the interfacing should be pressed for, or even what heat it should be at for that matter, but I'm going to try this anyway. I'm just going to give it about 10 seconds just to see how it goes, because I'm still getting used to this. So I've just let that go for 10 seconds at 305 degrees Fahrenheit, and that has actually adhered quite well. I'm actually really surprised, because this interfacing has been giving me trouble for years. I've got a 100-metre roll of it, and I can't get this fused, so I'm already impressed. I don't know how long I was supposed to press it down for, but 10 seconds at 305 degrees has certainly done the job for me. I'm very happy with that alone. So when I'm doing my bags and I need to stabilise it with some interfacings, I know that I can actually use that product now. I'm going to place a vinyl image onto one of my supermarket shopping bags. And if this works out for me, I'm actually going to put all the images onto my fabric before I actually sew them up. It'll be a lot easier. So the image that I have is, this is your vinyl, and you've got your vinyl in lots of different colours and styles, whether you go for plains or metallics. I've created a design for all of my bags, and a local lady who owns a cricket machine has put the images onto the vinyl for me, and all I've had to do is weed out all of the areas that I didn't want. So what that means is that I've got this black piece of vinyl. That's my image. It says Ngambie crafted, earth approved, and it's got the recycling image in the centre there. And by weeding it, I've taken out all the unnecessary pieces, including the background vinyl. So now this is ready to be placed onto my bag, and I don't want to melt my handles, so I'm going to put my bag in upside down. And having such a big 15-inch area is really good, because it means that I can get a larger image under here without any problems. So I placed that image down on the fabric, and then I'll take my Teflon sheet. This Teflon sheet came with the heat press, and I'm just going to sit that over the top. And I said to you earlier that this is an auto heat press. This button here, which we haven't come across yet, is the auto function. So if I press that, the letter A will come up on the screen. I can push my drawer in, and as I do that, the heat press will automatically come down, and it'll press for the desired amount of time. And then it'll pop up by itself again. If at any time you want to stop this, you just press that R button and it will release. This didn't quite take, I'm just checking it. So I've pressed it for a few more seconds because it wasn't quite right. I don't need the full 15 seconds though, so I've cancelled it. So my image has been imprinted onto my fabric. All I need to do now is peel away the vinyl. So once you've peeled away the vinyl, you're left with an empty sheet, and this is how the design is going to look. I think these are going to look fantastic on my bags. Of course, I will centre this properly on the bag when I make up my next batch. I also plan on using transfer paper. Now this is a mirror image of the same design. It says Ngambie crafted, earth approved, and this will be transferred onto a smaller piece of fabric, and I thought this one would be fun as well. This one uses a different heat setting. I'll go to my modes and find mode number 4, which is 390 degrees, which will press for 40 seconds. We just have to wait for the temperature to come up. In the meantime, I have this piece of upholstery fabric. So this is a sample swatch fabric, just like this one is here. I don't always have patterns like this one, and I have quite a lot of plain fabric, and I plan to make these look a little nicer by having some image transferred onto the fabric. I actually plan on making this style bag with this fabric, and I'm going to put a patterned print on top. So I've marked the center, and I'm going to transfer this image onto the top half of my fabric, and I want to make sure I have enough room for a seam allowance. And again, I'm going to cover that image with either baking paper or this Teflon sheet or applique sheet. It's set at 390, it's flashed green, ready to go. Pop it in, it's on auto, so it'll come down by itself. And all we have to do now is wait. Now this has got an automatic sensor, so whether you have something thick under there or a thin piece of fabric like this upholstery fabric, it senses how much pressure it needs to apply, so it'll give you a nice even pressure. You want to make sure your fabric under there doesn't have any folds or creases in there. We'll pull that out, and it's very hot when it comes out, so we'll just let that cool down for a minute. And when that's cool to the touch, or when that's cooled down a bit, all you need to do is start peeling the paper off. still a bit hot. And there we have my image on the upholstery fabric. This will just help the fabric look a little bit less dull. I have a piece of cotton fabric right here, and I'm going to use my next image straight onto the cotton. I'll give that a little bit of a press first. So I pop that in. I just want to iron out the creases, have that sit nice and flat. And that's a nice flat surface for the next image. Place that over the top. What I like about this so far is that it's got a drawer that I can just pull in and out. I don't have to go and clamp anything down or apply any weight. As I'm getting older, I'm having a lot less strength in my arms to do that. So this is actually perfect, especially given that I've only got one arm at the moment that's working. So I'll just cool that down a bit. I'll peel the backing off. And that's done a really nice image on the cotton. So you can see here I've got an upholstery fabric which is a lot thicker than this one here. This is 100% cotton. It's fused onto that beautifully. It's on that one beautifully. This one's got a little bit of a pile to it. And the vinyl on the upholstery fabric works really well as well. Let's see how it goes on some clothing. I have just one of my old singlets here. Now, most people, when they're using these heat presses, are putting them on with the neck area at the top. But because I can't use my right arm at the moment, I'm going to have to do this upside down. So I'm just trying to stay safe and not burn myself. Before I press the vinyl images onto this one, I need to adjust the temperature setting again. I've used one of the preset modes. Go back to my custom setting, and custom A is 305 at 15 seconds. That's the one I'm going to use. I'm just going to wait until the temperature comes back down again, and once the temperature's down to 305 degrees, then I can go and press this. In the meantime, I'm going to stick this under just to get rid of some of the creases. So you can see the temperature's already dropping there. I only need to press it for a few seconds. That's ready for me to go once the temperature has come down. So the images I've got here are a little cat, a little dog, and a little heart shape. So it takes a little while for the temperature to come back down again. Okay, the press is ready for me to go. I am going to place my image down on the fabric now and just find the center. It really doesn't matter where I place these images for now. This is just a test project. So I've got my dog, my cat, and a heart. Place the Teflon sheet back over the top. Pop the drawer under. And we wait. Just let that cool down a bit. So that's just a little bit too adorable, isn't it? Now there's just one more thing I want to try, and this is just a chopping board or a breadboard from IKEA. So I've just got a little design here. I'm going to place that in the middle of the board, place my baking sheet over the top, and this board is quite a lot thicker than all of the fabrics that we've been using so far. The platen will only come down and apply the correct amount of pressure that's required for the product that's underneath. And and hopefully that one's taken. Oh, look at that. Well, there you go. How about that? So it does the wood as well. Guess I'm not going to be able to use that side anymore, am I? But that's fine. That's very cute. I'm sure Chris will be impressed when he sees that next time we use it. So there we go. That was the Auto Heat Press. I actually had a lot of fun using this. It took me a little bit to nut it out because I've never used anything like this before, but I enjoyed it. Here is one of the upholstery samples with a little I love skulls. I'm a bit morbid. And once I get myself organised, I'll actually put that into a bag. So I will show you that in an upcoming video. This was just onto some cotton fabric. You saw me iron interfacing onto the back of cotton fabric as well. So I'm really pleased about that. The big roll of interfacing that I've got has just been a thorn in my side for years. So now I can actually start using it again. Breadboard, I think that's come up pretty well. And this cute little design on a t-shirt, just with the vinyl. I think that's cute too. I think everything's cute. What I've also done, I made up a quick little bag just to show you what I want to do with my plain upholstery fabric pieces. And I've used the heat transfer image in the center there. And I've also placed some vinyl images on the fabric as well. And I've popped a couple on the back as well. I was just having a bit of a play just to see how it all worked. The transfer fabric needs a much hotter press. So if you're going to put a transfer as well as vinyl, what I would do is the hot one first and then do the vinyl over the top of it. But you need to make sure you've got something covering the original transfer so that it doesn't peel back onto your Teflon sheet or on another medium. So that was just a bit of playing around. I've made a little zippered boxed bag, which I may give away or just keep. But my favourite product is the supermarket shopping bag. I've got lots of this fabric, lots of creams. So the black vinyl, you can get the vinyl in lots of different colours, as I've said, but the black vinyl is really going to stand out on these supermarket shopping bags. I think it's just going to add a whole other dimension to my bags now. So I'm really pleased that I've finally been able to do this. Obviously, I'll center the image properly and it'll be much easier to put the image on before you actually sew the bag up. But I didn't have time to do that. Thanks to HTVRONT for giving me the opportunity to try this out. In the description box below, I'm going to pop a link to the website. There are a couple of discount codes down there as well. They last for a month. If you go onto HTVRONT's website, you'll see all sorts of goodies on their website. So go over and have a look. You'll see up in the top bar of their website, they've got a few different countries that you can select. So they do post. I might just mention that I did receive this within 2 days. I was very surprised. I thought it was going to be coming out of China. But I found out it was out of a warehouse in Melbourne, so it turned up within 2 days of them telling me it was being dispatched. But if you go to the website, they've got Australia, USA, Canada, and the UK. So you can go directly to their websites. They've got distribution centres in those countries, and they will have stock available for you there. Available in white and blue or aqua. It's a pretty colour. And they've got so many other things available as well. For the next month, there's a link to a discount code in the description below. I'll put all the details down there for you. I'm really looking forward to dressing up some of this ugly fabric with these vinyl images. I think it'll be brilliant for my shop. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video and I shall catch you next time. Bye for now.